Okay, this is my second video in this plumbing inspection. The first video cut off at about the 15-minute mark, and we were just touching base on this is a Delta Seeds and Springs is likely needed in this unit to try to make it work better. It is not Moen style, it is a Delta style, and we touched base about that drain having the corrosion and whatnot, maybe that shoe needing replaced as well. So that was the last item we covered on the first video. So now we're moving over to the master bathroom and want to look over a few things here. All right. So we got a 2-handle faucet.
The sink isn't secured.
Yep. Yeah, there's no clips on here, no caulk, grout, well, not grout, caulk or silicone. Clear silicone would work good because of the color you have here.
I just haven't gotten to
Yeah,
that.
so yeah, you'll put that in. The trap looks good. Some corrosion here on that pop-up assembly. I'm not sure insurance would fail you on that. Okay, see that?
Yeah.
All right, you can see a little corrosion in that. And a little bit on these valves. You see that right there?
Yes.
But
I didn't notice that scorch mark in the back until just now.
yeah. Yeah, somebody
Somebody got close.
soldered this one on,
Yeah.
okay? See, that's a quarter turn one,
Yes,
so this
yes.
one's in good shape.
Okay.
Okay, this one, well, that's not wet. It looks shiny. I mean, other than that little bit of, it's not much corrosion there. Here, if I'm being honest with you,
Yep.
on a lot of these, that one did. A lot of these valves, if you take sandcloth on them and you get that, knock that stuff off of it, and it's not leaking, they're not going to fail you for it.
Okay.
Usually, they're failing when they see the stuff. Just so
Yeah.
you know, I'm just
Keep
being,
going.
before I tell you, hey, replace this, that, and the other, okay?
Right.
I'm not saying don't, but I'm not saying, I wouldn't want you to feel like you're pressured into it, especially knowing that we have an inferior copper water distribution system. Same thing as the other faucet here. One of the things I don't like about these Deltas, you know, it's corroded on the inside. So the hope would be that you could rebuild these, you know, by just putting the new Seeds and Springs in, and it doesn't do that dripping on you anymore. That's the hope. If not, you end up cutting it out and putting a Moen.
Okay.
But I'm not saying you really even need that. Here, this one's been painted over. Let's take this off. Same thing with this toilet. All right. That should be changed out to a good corky flapper. That line wasn't secured in there with a clip, okay? Another fluid master fill valve going into this one and secure that line, right? Because that's an accident waiting to happen.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because that line will pop right out. All right.
Okay.
These are garbage. This corky
Yeah.
fill valve is just
Okay.
that's absolute garbage anyway.
right.
So that's not needed. So, you know. Now the toilets we never touch on how they flush, but if there's flushing issues, generally you're just replacing them with a better flushing toilet. Don't get the ones that go number 1, number 2, garbage. All right, nothing but problems with them. The ones we sell, a good Vortense toilet, mid-grade toilet that flushes well. But a toilet that flushes well can also flush well just by there being a big hole in the front here, so the water drives it down.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you don't need 4-inch flappers and all this. They got more gimmicks out there than you'd believe. You can spend thousands on toilets, but it's really just if you want to waste money. Shower pan, you know, I want to touch base on this for you too, okay? Because so many of these homes weren't done this way. And the importance of your grout and everything on here. So most of these won't have a shower liner. You ever seen a shower pan or a
Yes.
shower liner?
I have.
So we're supposed to have a liner going underneath this tile coming up. So if we lose any grout, You see them areas right there or anything?
Protected.
We don't want water getting in that wall. Most of these don't have that, so that liner would go back to this point, and anything that got underneath it still ends up making it to the drain for you. All right, but doesn't look like it there. So most of these don't have the appropriate liner in it.
Okay.
You know, so you always keep, if it doesn't have it, you always keep that grouted and protected. And if you ever redo a shower, you know, we just replaced drain pipes for a guy, and he comes in and he did his own work, and he replaces his shower, and he wanted me to hook up the drain. And I said, there's no liner. No. And I told him ahead of time to do it. He didn't listen to me. So I told him, you hook it up or call somebody else.
Right.
Because, come on, you're going to spend all that money? Do it right. But for now, the biggest thing you do is just make sure you're sealed up on these locations, you know?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to add to anything. I mean, we don't know what's behind that wall, but you certainly don't want to add to anything, okay? So I'm going to do one more look. I want to look at them hose bibs outside that we spoke of earlier. I think that's should be our last thing to check.
Out there too, Fred.
Okay. Yeah, that electrical, like I said, that is a code thing for that water heater to be shut off from the same room. So,
And you see the city access right down there.
yep, right there's our city meter. One thing I told you about earlier, this is good information for you to know.
I did take pictures of this and looked at it. And
Yeah.
everything.
Now, if you ever have a leak, right? You see that triangle?
Yes.
That's your leak indicator.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have something that's constantly leaking, that's usually going to constantly move in a circle.
All right.
This style of meter, where the numbers aren't up here, but in the center here, it's harder for you to tell that that's leaking if it's small. It's harder to see that triangle move.
Okay.
Because of the style of meter this is.
All right.
Just so you know. But that's one thing. So if that triangle was moving and you shut it off to the house, I was saying in the first video, and it stops, you know the leak's inside the house. If you shut it off at the heater and it stops moving, you know it's a hot water leak, right? And the opposite if it doesn't, right?
Okay.
If you shut it off to the house and the meter's still moving, you know the leak is before the house, okay? That's something that you can always keep an eye on.
This has a disconnected irrigation system too around here. That they said, you know, there are pipes running like throughout the yard and everything. You can see them there.
Yeah.
And they do run a hose through one of them too, back behind the shed and everything. So I kept that connected, but that's
Yeah.
weird, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
obviously,
If you want to use irrigation, have an irrigation company out here and do it
No,
right.
no.
You know, if not, don't do it.
here's the electrical.
Yeah, okay, so there's our electrical panel. Yep. And our water heater is going to be,
We turn those off when we leave. You know, water heater and dryer, I think, are the two middle ones, and water heater, I don't know.
yeah, water heater, it's on a 30 amp breaker.
On-call circuit.
Yep. Which it should be on a 30 amp breaker, okay? So that's good, but as long as it's odd how they did that, as long as that's separate from you see what I'm saying?
How they split it.
Yeah, because you can't have, the water heater should be on a dedicated line,
Yeah.
okay? So that right there, remember with these, don't ever try to change that, okay? It's sweat on, all right? A lot of people try to change this bib off here. It's sweated on. We got to sweat it off, okay? And then you put in a quarter turn one, of course, if it goes. You never leave them multi-turn ones on.
And there is it seems to be a slow leaking bib on the other side here. It's the only, like, really slow leak I see, just a drip with the hose.
That's just for your old connection. That's
I
where the water heater used to go out to. The TMP that's not allowed to go out there anymore.
So a pan around the water heater below it where it sits up, that would be sufficient, like?
Yeah, a pan goes underneath it just to collect that water, and then it's got a pipe coming off of it to route it down.
Right.
So that if the water heater goes out, you know, if it splits in the back like some of them do, a lot of times you can't prevent all that water from going out. It's going to spray onto the wall anyway.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get as much into the pan and away from floor covering as possible. That's why they made that code. Okay, so right here, now this, they've ran something off of here. This is feeding something.
Yeah, the irrigation system or that hose behind the shed. I don't. I think just it's another. You know what? When you turn this on, you can. There's irrigation pipes, and you can start to hear like that
Okay.
it's still hooked to.
I got you.
Know what I mean,
Yeah, so you can always take that handle off or just don't turn it on, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to be using that. Right here,
that should be a
yeah.
quarter turn.
Right here, yeah, you quarter turn. Now that's leaking out of the packing nut, all right?
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times if you open that up and you don't want to split the nut, you carefully do that. You can tighten the packing nut to get
Okay.
that drip to stop.
All right, thanks.
For now until you want to, like I told you, it's a fine line. When I already know your plumbing system, over and over again, I'm on selling things to people because it's like you don't want to mess, jiggle, move, cut, drink. You got to be easy with these pipes.
Yes.
It's soft rolled copper,
Yes.
and you'll get pinholes, and you'll increase your chances the more you're playing with it. So
Understood.
you be careful with it.
Yeah.
I think, did we cover all the hose bibs?
Yes. I don't think there's anything out front here.
Nope, we should be good.
All
Okay,
right,
I'm going to
thank
end
you.
this video.
Thank